I never imagined that bringing my girlfriend home for Christmas would unravel a decade-old secret that had been festering in my family like a hidden wound. It started with the warm glow of holiday lights and ended with tears, accusations, and a truth that changed everything. Looking back, I should have seen the cracks, but love makes you blind, until it doesn't. It was the week before Christmas, and the snow was falling softly outside my parents' house in the suburbs, blanketing the yard in that perfect postcard white layer. The air smelled like pine from the fresh tree in the living room, decorated with ornaments we'd collected over the years. Some handmade by me as a kid, others heirlooms from my grandparents. Strings of twinkling lights wrapped around the banister, and the fireplace crackled with a cozy fire. My mom had the kitchen filled with the scent of baking cookies, cinnamon and vanilla wafting through the air. It was supposed to be magical, the first time I brought Sarah home to meet everyone. Sarah and I had been dating for 8 months. She was everything I never knew I needed, kind, funny, with this infectious laugh that could light up the darkest day. She worked as an elementary school teacher, passionate about helping kids from tough backgrounds, much like her own. Growing up in a small, struggling town, she'd fought her way through college on scholarships and part-time jobs. I met her at a coffee shop where she was grading papers, and we hit it off instantly. But as we pulled up to my parents' driveway in my beat-up sedan, I felt a knot in my stomach. My family was traditional. Dad ran a small construction firm, Mom was a homemaker who volunteered at church, and my younger brother, Tom, was in college studying business like Dad wanted. They valued stability, roots, the kind of life where you stayed put and built a legacy. Sarah, with her colorful tattoos peeking from her sleeves and her stories of backpacking solo through Europe, didn't exactly fit that mold. We stepped inside, stomping snow off our boots, and Mom greeted us at the door with a hug for me and a polite smile for Sarah. "You must be Sarah," she said, her voice warm but her eyes appraising, like she was sizing up a piece of fruit at the market. Dad shook her hand firmly, muttering something about the drive being long, and Tom gave a half wave from the couch where he was scrolling on his phone. I could feel the air shift, that subtle chill beneath the holiday cheer. Sarah squeezed my hand, her smile unwavering, but I knew she sensed it too. That first evening, we helped trim the tree. Sarah handed me ornaments, chatting animatedly about her favorite Christmas memories, making paper snowflakes with her mom when money was tight for real decorations. Mom nodded along, but her responses were clipped. "That's creative," she said, placing a glass angel a little too forcefully on a branch. Dad was quieter than usual, nursing a beer by the fire, his eyes distant. Tom cracked a joke about Sarah's tattoo of a compass on her wrist. "What, you get lost a lot?" and laughed too hard at his own wit. Sarah laughed it off, but I shot him a glare. Inside, I was seething. Why couldn't they see how amazing she was? She was trying so hard, and they were treating her like an intruder. As the days blurred into Christmas prep, the tension simmered. We'd go out for last-minute shopping at the mall, lights twinkling overhead, crowds bustling with bags. Sarah picked out thoughtful gifts, a cozy scarf for Mom, a book on architecture for Dad since he loved building things, even a video game for Tom. But back home, the judgments crept in. At breakfast one morning, Mom asked Sarah about her job. "Teaching must be rewarding, but it's not very stable, is it? With all the budget cuts these days." Sarah explained how much she loved it, how it gave her purpose. But Mom just hummed and changed the subject to my stable office job in marketing. I felt a pang of guilt, like I should defend her more, but I didn't want to start a fight so early. Dinner that night was worse. We sat around the table laden with ham, mashed potatoes, and green beans, the candles flickering softly. Conversation flowed at first, about the weather, the neighbors' over-the-top light display. But then Tom brought up Sarah's hometown. "Isn't that the place where that big factory closed down years ago? Must have been rough." Sarah nodded, sharing how it affected her family, how her dad lost his job and they almost lost their house. Dad's fork paused midair, his face paling slightly, but he recovered quickly, clearing his throat. Mom shot him a look I couldn't decipher. "Well, business is business," Dad said gruffly. "Sometimes things just don't work out." Sarah tilted her head, something flickering in her eyes, but she let it go. The rest of the meal was eaten in near silence, the clink of silverware echoing like accusations. I pulled Sarah aside later, in the guest room where we were staying. "I'm sorry," I whispered, wrapping my arms around her. "They're not usually like this." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "It's okay. Families are complicated. I just feel like there's something they're not saying." Her words hung in the air, and I brushed them off, kissing her forehead. But deep down, I wondered too. My family had always been close, but Christmas had a shadow over it. I remembered as a kid, the holidays felt forced sometimes, like Mom and Dad were putting on a show. I'd chalked it up to stress, but now, with Sarah here, those old feelings resurfaced. The next day, Christmas Eve, we bundled up for a walk in the snow-covered neighborhood. Lights glowed from every house, carols faintly audible from open windows. Sarah and I held hands, our breaths puffing in the cold air. "This is beautiful," she said, leaning into me. "Despite everything, I'm glad I'm here with you." My heart swelled with love for her, but also anger at my family for making her feel unwelcome. Why the resentment? She hadn't done anything wrong. That afternoon, while helping Mom wrap gifts, I confronted her gently. "Mom, what's going on? You guys are being kind of hard on Sarah." She sighed, folding a corner of paper precisely. "Honey, we just want what's best for you. She seems nice, but her background, it's different. We're worried she's not settled." I felt a surge of frustration. "That's not fair. You don't even know her." Mom's eyes softened, but there was something else there, guilt. "Just be careful, okay? Sometimes people have motives we don't see." Her words gnawed at me. That evening, as we attended the church service, candles lighting the pews, choir singing Silent Night, I watched my family. Dad stared at the altar, lost in thought. Tom fidgeted. Mom clutched her hymnal tightly. Sarah sang along softly, her voice sweet, and I squeezed her hand, determined to make this work. But the twist came later that night, after everyone had gone to bed. Sarah and I were in the living room, sipping hot cocoa by the dying fire, the tree lights casting a soft glow. She set her mug down, her face serious. "I need to tell you something," she said, her voice trembling. My stomach dropped. "What is it?" She took a deep breath. "Remember when Tom mentioned my hometown and the factory closing? It wasn't just any factory. It was the one my dad worked at for 20 years. 10 years ago, right before Christmas, it shut down overnight. Hundreds lost their jobs, including my father. It destroyed our family. My parents divorced. We moved to a tiny apartment. I had to work 2 jobs through high school." I nodded, confused. "I'm sorry, babe, that sounds awful. But why bring it up now?" Her eyes met mine, filled with pain. "Because your dad was the one who owned that factory. He sold it off to a big corporation, knowing it would close. He made a fortune from the deal, but he hid the layoffs until after the holidays to avoid bad press. My family was one of the ones ruined. I recognized his name when we started dating, but I didn't say anything at first. I thought maybe I could get close, understand why he did it. But then I fell in love with you and it all got complicated." I stared at her, the room spinning. Betrayal hit me like a punch. "You knew? This whole time?" My voice rose, anger bubbling up. "Were you using me to get to him?" Sarah shook her head, tears welling. "No, at first maybe I was curious, angry even, but it's real with you. I love you. I didn't plan this." I stood up, pacing. Inner turmoil raged, love for Sarah clashing with shock. How could Dad do that? He'd always said the business was tough, but this, destroying lives for profit? And Sarah, had she lied by omission? Guilt twisted in me. I'd brought her here oblivious. Christmas morning dawned bright, snow sparkling outside, but the house felt heavy. We opened gifts mechanically, smiles forced, laughter hollow. Sarah's presents were appreciated with murmurs, but the air crackled with unspoken words. I couldn't look at Dad the same way. By afternoon, as we prepared for the big dinner, I couldn't hold it in anymore. We sat at the table, turkey carved, wine poured, the fireplace roaring. Mom said grace, thanking God for family and blessings. But as we started eating, I set my fork down. "Dad, I need to ask you something." Everyone froze. Sarah looked at me, pleading silently, but I pressed on. 10 years ago, did you sell the factory knowing it would shut down and ruin people's lives?" Dad's face drained of color. Mom gasped. "What are you talking about?" Tom looked between us, confused. Dad sighed, rubbing his temples. "How did you?" He glanced at Sarah, realization dawning. "Your last name. I thought it sounded familiar." The truth poured out then, like a dam breaking. Dad admitted it. He'd been under pressure, the company struggling. The buyout was a lifeline, but he knew the new owners planned closures. He delayed announcements until after Christmas to keep morale up, but it backfired. "I regretted it every day," he said, voice breaking. "We donated anonymously to some families, but it wasn't enough. I'm sorry." Mom burst into tears. "We fought about it for years. It nearly ended our marriage. That's why Christmas is always so tense, we remember." Tom stared, shocked. "You never told us?" Sarah spoke up, her voice steady despite tears. "My family was one of them. My dad spiraled, left us, but being here, seeing you all, I see you're human, flawed like everyone." The table erupted, accusations flew. I yelled at Dad for the secret, at Sarah for not telling me sooner. Mom defended Dad, then turned on Sarah, calling her opportunistic. Tom slammed his hand down, angry at the lies. Silent tension gave way to raw emotion. Guilt from Dad, regret from Mom, betrayal from me. Sarah sat there, heartbroken, whispering, "I didn't want to ruin this." Hours blurred into sobs and hushed talks. We moved to the living room, fire dying down. Dad apologized to Sarah directly, tears in his eyes. "I can't undo it, but if there's anything..." She nodded, forgiving in a way I admired. Mom hugged her, whispering sorry for the judgments. They'd sensed something off but misplaced it. As the night wore on, I pulled Sarah outside. Snow fell gently, the world quiet. "I love you," I said, "but this hurts." She nodded. "I know, I should have told you, but I was scared of losing you." We held each other, the cold biting, but our embrace warm. In the end, we found a fragile peace. Dad promised to reach out to affected families, make amends where possible. Mom and Tom opened up about the hidden strain. Sarah and I decided to take it slow, rebuild trust. Looking back that Christmas, I realized holidays aren't about perfect lights or flawless families. They're about facing the darkness together, forgiving the unforgivable, and choosing love over resentment. It left me raw, thoughtful, forever changed. Family isn't just blood, it's the people who stay through the storm. And sometimes the greatest gift is the truth, no matter how painful.